welcome to CyberSec Pulse webinar brought to you by Hermitage Solutions. I'm Simona Bebenite and I will be your host today. Let me remind you that during CyberSec Pulse talks, we bring together highly qualified security professionals who introduce us to the latest cybersecurity solutions and demonstrates how it solves data protection and IT security challenges. Today, we are going to talk about how companies can secure GDPR-sensitive data across organization wherever it resides or travels by using role-based encryption. But more about that, you will hear from our guests, Udo, Günther, and Michael from Compal. But before we get started, a few reminders. So we are going to record a webinar. So if you have a step away for any reason, don't you worry. We will send you the recording in about a day. And if you have any questions, please use chat box, which is on your left-hand corner. And we will get to those questions in the end in the verbal Q&A. So my mission here is done. Udo, Günther, Michael, whenever you're ready, please take it away.
Thank you so very much. My name is Michael Hoppner. I'm the marketing and communications lead for Compal. And joining me today from our side are Günther Klicks, who is our sales and partner lead, and Udo Falkenrich, systems engineer, and our specialist for Landcrypt today. To introduce the company, I'd like to, show you the next slide, basically. Udo, if you could be so kind. Compal GmbH is a German-based company. We were founded in 2008. We're a technology spin-off of the Utimaco Safeware AG, which some of you might or might not know. We're headquartered near Frankfurt in Germany. Neu-Isenburg is a little town just south of that big city. And as I mentioned, we're a technology spin-out, so most of our core staff have very great experience in IT security and encryption, in authentication, certification, identity and access management. I myself have been working in that field in IT and security for 20 years. So we feel fairly confident about our expertise. We sell to on a B2B basis only. Our customers are in the mid-range to enterprise segment. We have small customers too. Udo will tell you about how that works with the Compal Landcrypt product. We're cross-sector, as you can imagine. The GDPR and the encryption questions arise whether you're an insurance company, a bank, a manufacturing company. And of course, they are also a strong consideration in public administration. We have several government bodies across Europe, across the world, who are among our customers. Across Germany, across Europe, across the world also basically sums up our reach. We are German-based. We have a subsidiary in Austria. We focus on the DACH market, but also on the rest of Europe and the rest of the world. We have a strong presence in Benelux and with our partner Hermitage in the Baltics as well. Basically, that's the overview of the company, and I'm gonna let Udo get right down to the meat, which is the technology that we're talking about. Udo, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. This is Udo from Compal. Hello to all, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all do fine in these times. This is my first presentation, by the way, so bear with me, maybe if it's not very too streamlined. Yeah, we're talking about GDPR today, securing data. And when we talk about to secure data, we all know in IT that data files are sent via different systems and can be read by different people and services. And what we want to do and what our product does is securing that information within files and data can only be read and used by people that really should be able to. So yeah, let's maybe talk a little bit about the situation we're in. Yeah, we're talking about files which are handled by system administrators. Files you maybe save on a file server. Here's the case: not only you can read this data, these files, but only a also a system administrator would be able to. So, for example, if you have an HR department where you have your contracts data, and the system administrator would be able to read these files on a server. You maybe don't want that. So yeah, our solution can take care of this. When we're talking about servers, we also talk about clouds. When we talk about the cloud, we talk about servers somewhere hosted by a third-party company. This is maybe just the same case as you have with a system administrator within a company. Cloud share providers are able to read your data. When you look at Google, this is their business because they scan their customer data in the cloud, send you advertisements, yeah, based on that data and that stuff. Also, external IT services. If you are a small company, maybe you don't have that many IT administrators within your company, and you engage another company, an administration company, to take care of your servers. They also would be able to read your data. You maybe want to secure that. If you save data on portable USB sticks, CDs, DVDs, not so more nowadays. But yeah, if these devices get lost, the data can be read by other people. If you send files by email or other ways to share them with other people, these files can be read by the systems the files go through. So maybe the mail provider would be able to read files you attach to emails, and so on and so on. Yeah, and what we do is we encrypt this data, and by encrypting data, you are only able to read the data when you got the appropriate encryption key. So this is just a pretty simple example. On the left side, we see some lorem ipsum sample text, and just the same text on the right side has been encrypted with an encryption key. And yeah, as you can see, it's pretty hard to read. So you need the encryption key to be able to read this data again. Okay, so how would we deploy this in a company? This should be an example of a maybe small or medium-sized company with different departments. There is a board, there's a marketing, finance, sales, engineer, and so on, different departments. And these departments save their data in folders, maybe on a server or on local drives, maybe in OneDrive or other cloud providers. And this should be shown on the left side, just with an example folder structure. So, for example, we have a folder named board where all the members of the board save their data. Now we can assign an encryption key to this folder or to this set of data and encrypt the data with this key. And this is the example in the first row. This is the black key we see here, which belongs to the board folder. And it means, yeah, this key is given to a member of the board, and then all members of the board who own that key are able to read and work with the data quite transparently within this folder, but no one else who doesn't own this black key. And this goes on for other folders or other locations where you save data. You have a location, you assign an appropriate encryption key to the location, and you assign users or groups of users to have access to this location. These groups of users and the users are then given the keys, and they can just work with the data. So it's able to assign groups of users. These can be departments. This can be the whole company to a resource, to data. and we assign a key to this. This is the main concept of compile encrypt. Sure, you can also have groups. You can also have personal keys. So, for example, if you have a personal folder somewhere, can be on a local drive or on a network drive. Lots of companies have a personal network folder for every user. This is super easy in compile encrypt to encrypt these personal folders with an encryption key, which does then only belong to this one user. So only the user is able to read the data, but not the system administrator who is making backups of these files on the server and that stuff. He can do just the work as he has done it before, but he is not able anymore to have insight to read the files. Okay, let me switch on a slide. So how would this look for a user? A user with our product gets a so-called encryption profile. And this encryption profile contains locations which should be encrypted. So just a very few examples we see here below. There is a folder on the server, which should be a department folder. Maybe this is the HR folder, and he gets this rule on the client side, and he gets the appropriate encryption key. And in this example, for the department, we take a red key. By the way, you don't choose colors in the administration. We'll talk about it later. This is just for an example, sure. We have a personal folder on the server, which gets encrypted with the blue key, which is a personal key, which just belongs to this user. So only he is able to access the data. Same example on OneDrive here. So he is able to save data in OneDrive, and only he is able to read this data. And yeah, maybe a little bit technical. How we do it on the client side is when you generate a file or you copy a file somewhere, right before this file would be visible in the data structure in the file explorer, we encrypt it. And this means if you, let's take the example OneDrive, if you save a file in the OneDrive folder, it gets encrypted before you see it in the folder, let's say it like that. And then OneDrive, the OneDrive application starts to synchronize this file to Microsoft, to Mr. Nadella. And while it gets synchronized, it's always encrypted. So when it when it travels over the network somewhere, it is encrypted. And when it reaches its goal in the Azure cloud at the OneDrive, it will be encrypted there too. So no one at Microsoft is able to read it, but you are. Yeah, same works on removable media. Pretty easy to administer if you have a company and you just want to secure. I have USB sticks within the company and I want to have them secured so everyone can within the company can work with the USB keys. But if it gets lost on the parking lot or something, no one outside of the company should be able to read this data. Within the administration console, for this example, you would just configure this one rule as we see it here. Removables is a placeholder for every removable media you would put in. And this rule means if you put in a USB stick and save a file there, it would get encrypted. So it's encrypted on the removable media. And in this example, it gets encrypted with a company key. Company key in this example just means this key is given to all people within the company, so everyone can just work with these USB sticks, save data there. You can share them within the company, but yes, if it gets lost, no one else would be able to read it. You can break this down. You can also have department keys, as we saw in the first example. So if you want to have USB sticks, which just can be used within one department, but not be read by others, you would assign a department key to these USB sticks and the department key to the department. So all people within the department, enough departments now, are able to work with the data, but no one else. That's the main concept. It works offline for the user. You can configure it in a way a user has to contact Central to be able to work with the data. Yeah, there are different possibilities. So you can have notebooks who don't connect via VPN to the company. You can get the rules out to them easily. Yeah, just the same easy way as you would do it within the company. Yeah, we'll have a look on the client side how this looks for a user. I think I said 2 times transparently, a user doesn't really recognize our encryption if you don't want that. Okay, how to implement LANcrypt. LANcrypt consists of 2 components. There is an administration console and a client. Let's first look at the administration console. We're talking about an enterprise product. You can set LANcrypt up for a one user environment if you want to. That's absolutely no issue. You just need one Windows client for everything. But it scales from one place. Our largest customer currently runs 250,000 of workplaces easily, and he can still scale it up to 1 million. It will just work. We have a database where the administration console saves its data. And data, when we're talking about administration data, we talk about users and we talk about user groups who you want to give the ability to encrypt and decrypt data. You can import these users from AliIP, from Active Directory. You would be able to import it from an Excel file. You can generate them manually. There are several ways. The most used one is to just import them from Active Directory and maybe also just use group structures you also already designed in Active Directory to use them in LANcrypt. We will have a look on this. Yeah, I've been talking about encryption keys. We take these encryption keys to encrypt the files. And I've been talking about a profile which is sent to the client so he can start encrypting. To get access to this encryption profile, if I go back one slide, we see the certificate here at the top. To authenticate the user to this encryption profile, we use certificates. And these certificates can be imported also from an PKI, from MCA. If you got one running already, we are pretty open. We can basically use every 509 certificate. If you don't have CA or PKI running, we can create own certificates. Yeah, also pretty easy. And we save all this data, certificates, groups, rules, and all that stuff in a database to be able to administer this from different places. So if you have a worldwide company, maybe you have different different countries, different locations. You have you want to have someone administering the maybe the African department and someone administering the European department. You can have as many as administration consoles as you like. They all connect to the same database to have one central place with your configuration. And then this administration console generates these so-called encryption profiles. These are very small files, few kilobytes, and share them with the client. And there are, again, several ways to do this. The most used one is just to have a share. Most of the time we are talking about encrypting files on servers. So there is a possibility to have a network share where this administration console just saves these encryption profiles and where the client just loads these encryption profiles. And this is a very, very stable process. So there is no connection from the client side to any database or something. The client can be offline. If this profile is loaded once, you can configure it like, yeah, you can just use it as long as he wants to. And there are different possibilities to get these encryption profiles to the client. As I said, the most used one is a network share. But if you have a company, I already used the example, and you have clients which don't connect via VPN to the company, they cannot see this share within the company. You can set up a web server. You would be able to send them via email if you want to, or save them directly local on the client. There are several ways. Yeah, for enterprise, you most of the time you take a network share, and 95% of the clients can be reached. But in enterprise, there are always clients who are different, and that's why you have different possibilities to get these files to the client. So yeah, you can configure them in any situation. Yeah, that's mainly it for the installation. For the administration console, there is an MSI file which gets installed, and on the client side, there is also an MSI file which gets installed. It's pretty small, small footprint, quick installation. You can just deploy it via any deployment system you're running. Yeah, MSI. So this should be a known format. Okay, this is how it would look if you roll it out. Let's maybe take a little look into how you can administer compile encrypt. Yeah, I talked about, and I said we can scale it from one place to a multi-country company easily. If you remember the table we saw with the different colored keys, maybe this is the same example. So we have a small company where there is a board, a sales, engineering, marketing departments with different persons in there. And you want to secure that no one from sales can read the marketing data, and you want to secure that engineering does not want to read the sales data. You can just generate groups, maybe a sales group, then put in the rules, the locations where sales saves their files, attach the appropriate encryption key to it, and then generate profiles for sales. So they save their data, and no one from the other departments can read it. Within a small company, there is maybe one person who can just do it. It's a lot can be automated within the administration console, and this would be easy. But maybe if you have a bigger size company, so you are in different countries, you have several departments, you don't want to do all this work by yourself in the headquarter. And with LARCrypt, you can delegate work. So if you have encryption groups, maybe for different countries or different departments, you can assign so-called, we call them security officers, to these groups, to these departments, and configure them to be able to roll out new users for encryption, maybe, and still have the monitoring of all actions in the headquarter. You can also do it like you have a security officer in your subsidiary, and there is a new department which should get rolled out. You give him a task, say, yeah, please prepare, import these users to the administration console, prepare everything. But I want to, oh, I missed the word right now. I want to, Michael, I need help. Vier-Augen-Prinzip. I want to
share responsibility.
Four eyes principle.
Yeah, there's sorry guys. There's a 4 eyes principle. So a second person has to come to the administration console and say, "Oh yes, this is all cool. What you have done, everything is right," and I validate this work. So this is also possible. So a subsidiary can start preparing everything, then call headquarter and say, "Yeah, we got everything prepared. You want to have a look if everything is right?" And as you want to have it, and then you sign into the administration console, have a look, and say, "Yeah, all is cool. We can do it." You authenticate yourself, and then all what has been prepared goes live. So that's possible within the administration console. Some buzzwords for the administration console. I already talked about, we can import certificates. We use certificates to authenticate and authorize users to the encryption profiles. We also use certificates for the security administrators to be able to sign in to the administration console. And as said, you can import them or just create own ones, which are then generated by compile encrypt. You can import your users from Active Directory. You can use Active Directory structures if you maybe have your company structured in departments and you want to encrypt the files for these departments. You can use the structure. We will see this with a short look into the administration console later on. You can just use these pre-built structures, or you can create your own within encrypt. That's also possible. And by having this in a console, we can completely separate the file encryption administration from security administration. For IT administrators, nothing will change with our solution. They can still see the files within folders. They can back up the files, provide folder access, and all that stuff they do the whole day. It doesn't change a dime for them. It's just the same. This is another layer where you can separate it completely from this IT administration. I talked about we have an hierarchical approach. The first person who opens the environment, we call him the master security officer. He is able to do everything, see everything, generate everything, regain access to everything easily. And this role can then create other different roles, the so-called security officers, and just assign the rights to these security officers they need. And if then a security officer signs into the console, he can only see his area. He can only see the structure he is assigned to, and he can only do stuff he should be able to. So maybe you generate the encryption keys in the headquarter. You don't want subsidiaries to be able to generate these encryption keys or delete them or something, but you want to be able for security officers to just get new users in. We've been talking about 4 eyes principle for nearly every action within the console. This is possible. Sure, we have a revision-proof audit of all actions. So if you want to know in a big company who has done what, when, we have a trace of all actions, and it's revision-proof because we use encryption, and we use encryption to secure that. Encrypting files. If you don't have the appropriate encryption key, we've been talking about this, is pretty hard to get access to these files. It's not possible. So if anything happens, it needs to be easily recoverable, and it is with encrypt. All you need to secure is the database. Make a backup of it, and you can regain access to every file you encrypted at any time in any place. For example, you find a USB stick with encrypted files below a desk years after the person left the company. It will take you 5 minutes to regain access to these files. No matter with which key it was encrypted, it's an easy reconnection. We work in VDI, not only on bare metal. We work in Citrix environments. We work in VMware environments. All that works easily. As said, you can have one or more administration consoles. And the access, I've been talking about recovering the whole environment. And you might also lose access, a certificate. I've been talking about certificates to authorize users to the administration console and to the client. There are sure also emergency access possibilities if you should lose these files. And the most important thing from a technical point is all keys are generated in your environment, not at a cloud provider, not at a third party. They are generated on your machines within your environment, and they also stay within your environment. So there is no backdoor access possible from anywhere. The product has been what is the French department for it? The ANSI. I'm not really sure right now. It's the BSI in Germany. This is the central department who says for very secure areas which software can be used. And we have been certified with LangCrypt all the years. And we are currently in the recertification process. You need to recertify yourself if you change the product. And as we've been renewing the product, built in modern encryption bibliotheques and all that stuff, we are we are regaining this. I missed the word. We are regaining the. Michael, help me. We're regaining the certification. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I would switch. Enough talking about slides. I would switch to a demo client. Maybe have a look on the client side so you get an imagination how it looks for a user. And give me a second. I need to stop this sharing and search for my environment. Where is it? Why doesn't it show me it? I need 2 more seconds. It doesn't show me my VMware environment to share right now. Zoom, I love it. I maybe need to share my whole screen then. I hope that works. And I did not clean up my desktop, so bear with me.
We're looking for the cat content right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry for that. Okay, but we should be able to see a login window of a Windows 10 client right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
You got
okay,
that.
thanks. Okay, what have we got here? This is a VMware workstation environment. We have a Windows 10 client. We have a very, very small Active Directory behind with a very few users. And we have, or I have a 2016 server here, which is running the database and the administration console. As said, if you have a very small environment, there doesn't need to be a server license. For this, you can set it up on a Windows 10 client. Also, bigger, medium-sized companies just use SQL Express. You don't need a big SQL license to run this. It's easy. Also for bigger environments, you don't need to take care of. Yeah, there is no need for a big SQL environment. You can put it in a Windows 10 machine, install SQL Express, install the administration console, have this in a VDI, and just save the VDI or back up the VDI, and you're done. That's easy. But it's able to scale up. Okay, let's log in a user and let's see what happens. Let's try it with the right password. Hopefully. The first trace of action from our program you will be able to see on the lower right in the tray when the user is signed in and services are loaded. Our client will load. Let's wait a few seconds. So services load. I think I also connected OneDrive. Didn't activate Windows, as you can see, but that shouldn't matter. There should be a red key in a few seconds, a small icon with a red key, and this is the LangCrypt client, which then loads. And as said, this client then loads the encryption profile, and this is the moment when this red key turns green. This is a user who has been using LANcrypt 1 or 2, 3 times. So he initially authenticated to our solution, and I configured this user. So he only needs to log into Windows, and he then is directly logged into the encryption solution. You can do this differently if you want to. So you can have the user log into Windows and have a separate password login to the admin, to the encryption client. You can use smart cards if you want to. We will be able to use within the next version. Smart cards are a little bit hard to handle sometimes. We will have different multi-factor authentication possibilities here. And to do that, we are currently working together with a French company called Invebo. Maybe someone knows them. Yeah, the German lead for this company is an old Utimaco colleague. That's why the connection came up. And you will be able to sign in with a mobile, for example. So you have a mobile, you get sent, the application is installed there, you get sent a second factor to the mobile, you put the second factor in here, and then you are logged into LANcrypt. There are different possibilities now. Yeah, the most used one is just log into Windows and be logged into the encryption solution. Okay, let's do a double click on our client, and that what we see then are the encryption rules, which have been loaded from our encryption profile. Yeah, it looks a little bit cryptic, but these are just paths and folders seen from the client side, which should get encrypted. So we have a 2016 compile is the name of the server to the left. We have a company folder there on the network. We have a department folder. We have a personal folder. We got a local folder, OneDrive. I hope I got my USB stick here somewhere. We also got a rule for USB sticks. And if I now open the Explorer on the left side, let's scroll over here a little. Yeah, we see these folders, these network folders below here. And what you can already see is there is a, maybe I can make this a little bit bigger. There is a key shown on the locations where we have an encryption rule, an orange key. And this just means for the user, yeah, here is an encryption rule. If you go within this folder and generate a file there, doesn't matter which format, anything, it will be encrypted. And yeah, the encryption process, you've just seen it, is completely transparent for the user. This file got encrypted. I can open it, type something, yeah. No, text. Example, sorry. You can just type, work with the file, save it again, and it gets encrypted in the background. The user does not need to do anything with this. Yeah, so what we see here is our company folder, and what we also have, this is all configurable. We have a context menu where we can show some information if you want to. You can also hide it if you don't want to show this to a user, but you can have a look for the encryption state. And what we see here then is, yeah, this file is encrypted, and it's encrypted with the compile company key. This is a key I manually generated and named it compile company key, hence the name. And this key is handed to all users within the company, so they can all access this network share here, the company network share, and work with the files easily. Yeah, same example on a network share here for a department folder. This is a support department who saves files here. They can just open these files and work with them. If they save a file here, it will be encrypted also. And when we have a look for it, we will see it will be encrypted with the compile support key. Also a key I manually generated and named compile support key and handed to all people within the support group, within the support department, so they are able to work with this. Here we've got a personal folder. When we have a look here, we will see this file encrypted with the user is named Udo Mustermann. With the Udo Mustermann key, only he has this key, so only he is able to read the data, not the system administrator on the server. Yeah, and this works for local folders. I must sign into OneDrive. Yeah, this works on OneDrive also. Though we on OneDrive have a little issue with Microsoft, they said they will change it. We can't see this. When I go here, you see the green keys, which is also configurable, but it shows the user, yeah, this file is encrypted. The key is green, you own that key, you can just work with the file. If you would have a site on a folder from another department, you might see red keys. If you don't own the key from that department, you won't be able to read the data. Yeah, and on OneDrive, we missed these overlay icons. This is an issue with Microsoft. If you enable OneDrive, they are not shown, but the context menu is still there. You see the file is encrypted. And as said, when you now save a file here to this OneDrive folder, we encrypt it before it is in the folder, let's say like that. So it when gets transferred to the Microsoft cloud, and it is encrypted while it is sent, and it will be encrypted sure when it reaches the Microsoft cloud. So you can use clouds and be sure no one can read your data within the cloud. Yeah, normally you got a little USB stick lying around here. I would put it in, but we will see just the same. I'm missing it right now. Yeah. We will just see the same asset. There will be an orange key on the USB stick, and files on the USB stick will be encrypted. If you roll out the client, you have folders where there are your files, and they are not encrypted yet. You can start the encryption from a central place. You can tell the user, go to your new LANcrypt client and do the initial encryption, and then our client will just perform encryption within all folders where there is a rule, so you can roll it out easily. Yeah, but as I said, you can do this also from a central place for the initial encryption. And if users then go on generating files, they will be encrypted. That's the client side. Simona, I'm running out of time. Is that possible?
I would. Yeah, actually, that's possible, but we still have 15 minutes. So let's leave a little bit for Q&A.
Maybe 2 or 3 minutes, quick peek into the administration console.
Sure.
Let me sign in. Should be this password. Yeah. Okay. Administration console. From the view of it, it's not the newest one. We are open to this. We took our LANcrypt from Sophos 2 years ago, and Sophos does a lot for different products. They got a lot of products, but they didn't look into their encryption products too deeply anymore. So they didn't do much. We are speeding this up. And we are working inside out for a security product. We think the most important thing is everything needs to be modern, actual, secure. And this is what we've done to the administration console. The core of this console behind the UI we see is completely renewed. I don't know if there is someone of you who already used LANcrypt in the past. It's a lot faster. When talking to databases in very big environments and that stuff. But we didn't work on the UI yet. So this is still a Microsoft Management Console where we reside, but we will have a better administration, more modern console next time. Yeah, you manage your security administrators here. I've got 3. I said the master security officer opens the environment, then can generate different security officers. I have a data protection officer. who is therefore he identifies locations which need to be encrypted, where GDPR comes in place, and he will assign encryption rules and keys to these files. Then we have a human resources officer who is just there for his human resources department, and he is able to get in new users. Maybe if they hire a new person, he can see the person, identify him physically in person, and say, yes, you are this person, you are working with us, and he will enable him to work with the encrypted data. So he just gives this person access. You can generate your own rules and absolutely generally assign what a person should be able to do. This goes about generating keys, assigning keys, importing users, synchronizing, all that stuff. Yeah, you can configure these security officers just with the rights they need to be able to. And then you assign them to your encryption groups. We had our support group here. What we do is for every group we generate, we add 3 structures. We add the encryption keys for this group. We add the encryption rules for that group, and sure, we also have members within that group. So if I go to, let's just have a look for the Udo Mustermann user we saw on the client is in this example in the support department. So here we see our support key, which belongs to that group. Also, the company key is available within that group. These are the 2 keys we saw on the client side where files got encrypted. And here we see the rules which were generated, which we also saw on the client side. And this is quite easy. You do a right click, say new rule. You could type any path. Oh, English keyboard. Let me switch. Any path, or choose a variable. So if you want to have documents encrypted, you just say, yeah, this folder. Choose the appropriate key. Just depends on who should be able to read the data. If only the user should be able, you choose a user key or a key you generated and assigned to a group or to different groups. You just say, okay, and now it says, I already have this rule. You see, we've been talking about it. And then you generated the rule. You go to your users and deploy that rule. There are different ways for it. You build his encryption profile. Now it is saved on a network share. And when the user logs in, or maybe every hour, you can configure this. The client will load this encryption profile and yeah, just work with it. Everything you can click in this console can be, we have an API, so you can script everything. The bigger companies who run LANcrypt don't use the administration console. They got it completely automated within their environments. Simona, I should stop, I think.
Yeah, actually, we have a few questions. So if you're done with this part, maybe let's switch to Q&A now.